Whew. Okay, this TBR just gets taller and taller. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor, we talk about everything and all things books and nothing but the books. Okay, so today, let's talk about the YA fantasy and the regular fantasy that's going to be on my spinner wheel for this year. Now, I had just filmed and posted all of my historical romances I will exactly be are specifically going to be reading in this year. I've also just posted the fantasy romances that will be on my TBR cart that is part of this challenge, or TBR jar selections, or TBR picks. I don't know. I would do a TBR jar, but I like the spinner wheel just so well. Anyway, so I have my fantasy romance selections that I will be selecting. That's the word, but I will be choosing from once a month. And now I want to talk about the YA fantasies that I will be also having a spinner wheel, or TBR spinner wheel, that'll be part of the selections for this year. Now that means I have 10 of those. I will definitely, now that means I'm not exactly going to be reading all of these. At the rate that I'm going, I'm hoping to at least complete 3 YA series of this list. That is my challenge, is not only start one of these series, but I am just in that journey of trying to complete the YA series that are backlist. Some of these are newer or just released or just been completed this year. I want to do that. So that means for the YA fantasy series, I'm not exactly going to be selecting that one every month, but as soon as I have completed at least all of the books that have been published in that series. I have 5 fantasy or high fantasy books here that are the beginning of a series that I want to start. To kind of branch out a little bit different. I don't think I've read just fantasy. I think I tried one of these and I was just like not in the mood. So these are the ones that I wanted to try. Some of them are also been released, and I know one of these I would definitely be reading this year. So we have 2 different selections. I figured we just put it all together in one video, just because. So let's get started on the fantasy, because there's only 5 of those. My goal for here, these ones are just going to be parts of a spinner wheel as well that I want to select from. So these books here that I have. So of course we're going to start, I have some others, but this is where I kind of want to start. Just a good selection. So I want to try Brandon Sanderson, and so I wanted to pick up Mistborn, and I've been told that this is very similar to like a reimagining of like what would happen if, like, when Harry Potter, if Voldemort won, basically, and this is the starting of the trilogy, and this is a good starting point for starting Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere universe, where all of his like published novels are kind of connected. So I just want to see if he is for me. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I had tried to start this, I think, was it last year? I don't remember. I just wasn't in the mood, and I just couldn't get into it. It was like maybe 30 pages, to be honest. I'm hoping to start this. I may have to also do the audiobook to kind of help me get jump started, because for some reason sometimes the first 30% of a book can be just a little hard for me to get through sometimes. Not sure, but that's why for that one. And then the other one as part of this list is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I had picked this up in a library sale as well, and I think I have the second one, so I think it's just a duology. And so this is basically the battle between 2 superhero villains, from my understanding, and it's just like their, not their love, but their hate relationship. So that is all I know about this. I have read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I gave that one 5 stars. Looking back, people said there was like a lot of romance in it. It was very barely any romance in that one, so that was actually kind of disappointing. Looking back, that book is probably a 4-star if I was really going to be honest about it now, knowing my reading taste better and things like that. But I did enjoy the fact that it was something different to read about. And then I know this is like a very popular series. It's kind of like Hunger Games but like sci-fi in a combination, I think. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember, but this is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I do own all of them except for the last one, so if I do end up picking this one for this year to try, I'm definitely excited to try this. At least want to start again. I want to at least start one of these series again this year. So my goal is very similar with the YA series as well. It's just to read a book and try to read all of the books in that series. If I can read 2 from this list, I'm going to be happy. And that doesn't include the one that I know for sure that I'm already going to be planning that's not really technically part of the spinner wheel that I'm going to read regardless. So we have that one. And then number 4 here is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This was just a completed series or trilogy. So this one is a Norse mythology inspired fantasy epic, and it follows 3 warriors, and those ones are a huntress on a perilous quest, a noblewoman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. So as you can see, this is like, there's like a dragon god, I'm guessing. And then I think the second one has like a wolf thing, a huge wolf. And then the third one I think has like some sort of water creature kind of thing. So excited, like these are really, I mean, the cover alone is really intriguing to me. Excited to try this one, and I've heard great things about this author as well. And then the 5th selection that I hope this is the one that I truly intend to read this year, especially probably in October, is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. It has some really cool artwork, like a map. It's just really cool. So I've heard nothing but good things about this, especially from Jen from the Book Refuge and Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life. And you know, we are romance readers, but they also really enjoyed this. So I'm excited to try it. It's vampires. I hear it's very violent and bloody, but it also has like some sort of like a great romance relationship. But that's not the plot though. It's like a subplot, but it's doesn't necessarily probably going to be ending a happy ending at all, and happy ever after. But just really excited to try it, and it's definitely something that will put me in the mood for around the Halloween time. So that's why I'm excited to read that. I also do own the second book as well, which is Empire of the Damned, and I believe the 3rd and final book is releasing this year. So again, the fact that it's so close to the final book being released is definitely gets me more excited to read this one as well. So now this is the YA fantasy portion, and let's get started about these 10 books. Now these 10 books will be part of the spinner wheel, as I said. Most likely not going to all of these. I would love to get through 5, but more realistically, I'll hopefully get through 3 of the series of these YA fantasy series. So that means not just the first one, but all of the books that's in that series. So we'll see how that goes, right? Maybe I DNF, maybe I won't. So the first one is The Demon King by Cindy Williams Chima, and Seven Realms trilogy. Planned to be a trilogy, but I think it's actually 4-book series. Okay, so I think this follows a princess and a reformed thief. Alright, so this one says that reformed thief Han Alistair will do almost anything to eke out a life for himself, his mother, and his sister. And ironically, the only thing of value he has is the silver cuffs that he can't sell. For as long as he's remembered that these cuffs are engraved with runes, and they're clearly magicked, and as he grows, they grow, and he's never been able to get them off. Things get harder when he takes a powerful amulet from a powerful wizard that once belonged to the Demon King. And the Demon King is the wizard who nearly destroyed the world a millennium ago. And then meanwhile, the princess heir of the Fells has her own battles to fight. She doesn't want to have to trade in her life to become married. And she aspires to be like Hanalia, the legendary warrior queen who killed the Demon King and saved the world. Those two join forces, and I'm sure I hope that there's found family and just obviously a lot of forced proximity and just a lot of journey and traveling and questing going on here. This is a backlist book, so I've heard great things about this in the past, but I haven't heard obviously anything recently about it, but I'm excited to hopefully read this one this year. And then the next one is the backlist one is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. And this one follows Katsa, who is able to kill a man with her bare hands. When she was 8, she is known as a Graceling, and she's one of the rare people in her land born with an extreme skill. She's a niece of the king, and she's been able to live a life of privilege, but she is forced to be the king's thug, or I'm guessing like assassin kind of situation. Meets Prince Po, and she never expected to become his friend. Everything is about to change. So that is that one. I think this is really a trilogy, but there is like a third one that's called Bitter Blue that was released afterwards. So I think the trilogy is really the main one, and then there's like an extra kind of book situation, kind of like Akatar. That's what it sounds like. And then next I have A Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. Now, I had read the Red Queen series, and then I got like, I really enjoyed the first one, and then every single book afterwards just felt like it was losing the plot. Let's just say. It got really, really boring, and then it got really, really wordy without really even saying anything. So I DNF'd it. I had picked this up as part of like a deal when I got those books originally, and this one is signed first edition by the author, and I believe there's 3 in this series, so I'm hoping to at least try this one out. So this one I don't know if I will like. I'm hoping I will like it because she did write it as a inspiration of like her of Lord of the Rings. So I definitely, those are things that I really like, is like a quest and a found family going on this mission and things like that, and things being discovered. I'm hoping that this one will turn out okay. And then next, I believe it has maybe one more book left, but the third book was just released and I'm excited to read it. So I've been buying the books every time it gets released, but I haven't read it yet because, you know, I like to wait. I don't know why, it's just a thing. But I know, I have a feeling that I'm really going to enjoy it, so that's where the logic is. This one is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, and I'm really excited to try this this author. This is a Arthurian retelling, gender bent, where I think she has like Arthur. I don't know. I really don't know anything else by that. It's just that it's a Arthurian retelling, and that's all people have to say. I did recently pick up the third book, so hopefully if I do pick up on this one, that it won't take too long for the fourth one for me to read that. So we'll see. So that I'm going against my rule generally. Usually I want to wait until the book is about to come out, but I'll break my rule for this one. And then this one is the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I had picked this up. This was like a really cool find at a library book sale of all 3 of the books. And what really intrigued me about this one is it has mixed media, and that's all you gotta do to really intrigue me, is this whole mixed media kind of situation. I believe it's like a science fiction kind of thing, or mystery. That's all I know. I think it's a boy and a girl, or a guy and a girl, that kind of have to join forces, and that's really, like I said, I generally like to go in these things relatively blind, with sort of a clue but sort of not a clue, as you can tell already by this video. Yes, that is that series that will be on as part of the options. And then this one is the third one just got released, so I could also binge this one if I really enjoy it. And this one is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I had the Barnes & Noble edition here, and I believe I actually have the second book already. I do have the third book pre-ordered as well. So I am thinking I'm going to enjoy it because it is Hunger Games, and I heard that it had a lot of inspiration from Hunger Games and Red Queen, but I wanted to see for myself what I'll think about it. Again, I have no idea if I actually will read this one this year, but this one has a higher priority as well, that it may or may not just randomly me decide that I'm going to read this one regardless. And then we have here Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I had recently had a library copy that was bound, ex-library copy, but I picked this one recently at a Half Price Books because it was in a lot of better condition. This one is A Princess, Prisoner, Orphan, Rebel. I mean, it's your classic YA fantasy, probably introduction of a YA where she's a princess or she's a hidden princess, whatever, with hidden powers. I'm guessing that's what this one is, and I'm just really excited about it. I mean, the cover alone is really what intrigues me the most. This was on my TBR for probably the longest. I think it was probably one of my very first like want to read way back when I started reading Goodreads, probably in like 2021. I didn't own it then yet, but it's been on there for a while, so I will definitely I'm hoping to get to this one. I do own, I think, the second book as well, so see how this one goes, and if I read it this year, if it pops up on the drawing. I just have a few more. We have Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Apparently this is part of a group that has been indicated, like it's a science fiction thing where their whole job is to unalive people because we've gone so evolutionized or with medical technology that people can live forever, and so they have to do make their own selections for people to be decided to be unalived for population control. It's just a very intriguing premise for me. I'm excited to see if I like this one. This one is a trilogy. Next I have something that is really making their rounds recently, and I think for a good reason, because I don't know, these covers, these new republished covers really caught my eye, and it has these really cool spines that line up so good. But I've been hearing really good things about this one, that it's gonna hit hard. So we have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. I'm trying to expand my horizons more and trying different kind of authors and different kinds of settings and fantasies, so I'm intrigued about this one. Gaia is a slave, Elias is a soldier, neither is free. Under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. Lion and her family do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those that do. Lia's brother is arrested for treason, and then she's forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. Okay, military academy. Sold. There, Leo meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly, its most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. So that sounds really good. I do have all 4 books, and it is a completed series, so as you know, that's something I love. And it's really cool is the spine. Just is really cool. I love that. Really hoping to get to this one. I mean, there's a few here that I might just willy-nilly decide to read that month. Who knows? Who really knows? And then next I have, last but not least, I have Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Now I heard about this one through Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life, that this is one of her all-time favorite books, especially at least for YA. So I'm really intrigued, and I believe this is a trilogy, and this has, I think, one of the most romantic romances. This one is something to do with angels. That's what I remember. So yeah, this one has angels kind of involved for that, and I don't know, I just love this cover. I think that's really cool. And then finally, it's not going to be part of this spinner wheel because I am going to be reading it, probably one for next month, and I want to read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and then Sunrise on the Reaping. I mean, I've been waiting for Hamish's book for so long. It's been years, guys. Gosh, when was that released? Was that in 2010? 15 years. At least. No, I had read the original trilogy when it was out, and I think I did a reread too right before the movies came out as well. So I love the movies, I love the book. I mean, it is just a great, Hunger Games are iconic, so I'm excited to read it. I was almost going to read Sunrise on the Reaping first because I didn't have Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes yet, but I recently picked it up at a Half Price Books. So yeah, so those two will definitely be being read this year. That's for sure. And I'm really excited about it. I mean, I'm hearing and seeing people's stories about Sunrise on the Reaping, and it's destroying them, and I'm just like, can I just jump to that one? But it's gonna destroy me, right? I'm hoping to get to it soon, but I don't want to get to it soon because when I want to read it, it's going to be during a travel week, and I can't. It's going to be during a work trip, so I can't do that. I can't do that to myself. So I'm hoping this means I won't be able to get to later in the month in April. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so those are all the books that I am going to have additions into my spinner wheels. These are the last groups of books that are going to be part of that whole challenge this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all evolves, especially with my fantasy romances and historical romances. And I always throw in my contemporary romances in there too. So it's going to be interesting how this all kind of goes with all of these selections. So I'm excited for each of these. And I want to read them all, and I want to read them all right now. Humanly impossible to do, and I wish I could read faster. Reader problems, right? Reader problems. It's okay. It's okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I will have all my links down in the description box below. My Instagram, my Goodreads, and my Bookish wishlist. Let me know if you've read any of these and which ones you would recommend that I prioritize over any of these, or that you have on your TBR. And if you don't want to let me know that, but you want to let me know that you're here, go ahead and comment a sword emoji for Legendborn, because the sword for the Arthur thing. I have no idea if it's related to that, but that would be really entertaining if it was. So go ahead and put a sword emoji down in the comments below. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.